when you order something, they call it a chain of title, and forgive me if I call anything by an incorrect term, but what does that mean? What does that mean? You're going to run a chain of title for me, and how does having that chain of title help me understand as a buyer whether or not I should be confident in my interest in the home?
The chain of title, somebody is, everything's a public record, and so what's in the public record is what counts, not what people say they've done. And so every time there's a transaction or something has happened in the history of the property, it will be recorded, and that it becomes a link in the chain of title. So you have this chain that goes on. In 1945, something happens, a sale, a mortgage, a lien, could be anything. So every time, 45, 75, 95, 2005, there's a new link in the chain of title. And so most issues that you really want to see, you'll see those pretty clearly, what really is affecting the property. But it'll also reveal where there's an interest in the property that is hanging out there that was never closed off, like a probate issue.
Yep.
So those tend to be the ones that you have to focus on seriously. But you do all that so you get the chain of title correct, so that when you insure it, the key to title insurance is ensuring the lender's in first position.
Yep.
And that the owner's in first position subject to that mortgage they just took out.
And so you mentioned only what's recorded in the courthouse, I'm paraphrasing, exists. So if you and I have something and it was an interest I had in your property and it was 10 years ago and I never recorded it, when you do your chain of title, it doesn't show up. And it's okay, because if it is not there, is it that it does not exist, period?
Yeah, now as of title, it doesn't exist because different states have different theories on how to record and timing. But if two people have a interest in the property, the first one that gets to the courthouse and records it is in first position, and then the second one records. Well, if you never record it, you never got to the clerk's superior court, so it never got recorded, so it doesn't exist.
So the buyer's going to buy the property. The seller has done all they need to do. They have a owner's title policy, so it's all good. You get ready to get to closing, and a buyer is going to be offered the opportunity to buy owner's title insurance. Now, I'm going to just start out with this because there's a lot of people out there that think that title insurance is kind of, not a scam, but it's just not worth it. And is there a lot of profit in the title business? Yes, I'm going to say that myself. There is a good bit of money for people to make in the title business. But in my opinion, and I could be wrong, I would not buy a piece of property ever that I did not have owner's title insurance in the property. I just wouldn't do it. And so let's just say, okay, I paid $1,000 for something that maybe, people made $800 to sell, or what? Who cares? As long as when I have a problem and I need to sell that property, I can send you my policy and you're not going to ask me any questions. To me, it's the best money I could possibly ever spend. I know you're a closing attorney, so your opinion on it is a bit jaded, but am I right?
Yeah, I buy even when I buy a property, I buy title insurance on it. And so you want to have that peace of mind. It's a small percentage or a small part of the ownership. And the worst thing is if you bought a house and you didn't have it, where would you go for recourse? Because the closing attorney is not going to guarantee you. I'll have people, okay, I offered you title insurance, you waived it, so if anything ever happens, that's on you. I can't, and they're like, we did title exam, and I did do a title exam. But if the title exam didn't show up anything, not much I can do. But we're not insuring it ourselves as the closing attorney, the title insurance. And so think about it, though. If title insurance was very inexpensive, okay, that would change the industry because they do have coverages. But the settlement fee, so there's two things. You have the title insurance, which is the title agent, and then you have the settlement fee. Well, the settlement fee would increase. It actually does cost money to hire people.
When I sold my property in Chicago, now this was 1999, I paid $2,250 in attorney's fees. The buyer paid $2,200 in attorney's fees. The attorney charged closing fees on behalf. I think there was $6,000 or $7,000 worth of fees going to attorneys.
And they have cheap title insurance.
Yeah.
But it's a shift. And so it is profitable in the sense of gross dollars, but those gross dollars is what keeps the settlement fees. Generally everybody's going to charge around a little under, a little over 1,000 combined.
Yeah, 800, 900, something like that. Yep.
But if you somehow the world adjusts, title insurance changes, the settlement fees go up to $1,600 each or $2,000 each, like what you're talking about in Chicago, and that's what they do out west. The escrow is what they call settlement. Those fees are very high, and then the title insurance is actually very high out west too.
I was going to say, I thought there's some states where it's a double whammy. They're paying a lot for title insurance and they're paying a lot for attorney's fees.